In the bustling heart of Rome, amidst the chaos of warring factions and internal power struggles, one man emerged who would leave an indelible mark on history. This man, known not only for his military genius but also for his unyielding ambition, dared to challenge the very fabric of Rome's political foundations. His name was Julius Caesar, a leader who, with a single step across a modest river, set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the fate of the ancient world. The year was 49 BC, and as Caesar approached the banks of the Rubicon, he understood the gravity of his actions. With his loyal legions at his side, he paused and uttered words that would echo through history. Alia iacta est, the die is cast. By crossing this line, Caesar defied the Republic, plunging Rome into a conflict that would bring the age of republican governance to an end and give rise to a new era, the Roman Empire. But Rome was no ordinary city. It was the beating heart of a vast Mediterranean empire, one that spanned from the deserts of North Africa to the forests of Gaul, from the shores of Hispania to the bustling marketplaces of Asia Minor. By the 1st century BC, however, this once thriving republic was crumbling from within. The same political institutions that had been crafted to govern a modest city-state now buckled under the weight of empire. Ambitious leaders, from generals to senators, vied for power, each hoping to steer Rome's fate according to their vision. These internal conflicts created an atmosphere ripe for change, and in Caesar, Rome found a man who was both willing and capable of breaking from tradition to redefine the very essence of Roman power. The tension between tradition and transformation was not new to Rome. For centuries, it had been a society deeply rooted in ancient customs, where respect for the Senate and reverence for the rule of law were cornerstones of civic life. However, as Rome's territories expanded, so too did the responsibilities and ambitions of its leaders. Caesar, an exceptional military commander, understood this tension well. Through his conquests, he had amassed both fame and loyalty, qualities that made him both feared and adored. But with his rise came inevitable opposition, as many of Rome's elites saw him as a threat to their power and a symbol of Rome's increasing shift towards autocracy. Join us as we journey deeper into this transformative period, uncovering the decisions and battles that shaped the fate of Rome itself. If you're passionate about ancient history and the legacy of the world's greatest empires, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legacy of Empires for more engaging content on the rise and fall of civilizations. Picture yourself standing in the heart of ancient Rome, at the pulsing center of the Roman Republic, the Roman Forum. As you gaze upwards, towering marble columns pierce the sky, a testament to the grandeur and architectural mastery of this monumental space. All around, toga-clad senators and orators engage in passionate debates, their voices echoing through the cavernous expanse. The air is thick with the scent of burning incense wafting from the nearby temples, mingling with a cacophony of merchants haggling and citizens going about their daily business. This is a place of not just politics, but of deep religious significance and cultural identity for the Roman people. The Forum was the symbolic epicenter of Roman power and tradition. At its center stood the Temple of Venus Genetrix, commissioned by none other than Julius Caesar himself. This strategic placement of a temple dedicated to his mythical ancestress intertwined religion, politics, and Caesar's own personal ambition, as he sought to cement his status and legacy within the heart of the Republic. Nearby, the imposing Basilica Julia, with its vibrant marble floors and soaring columns, further exemplified how Caesar skillfully used architecture to impress and sway the Roman populace. The sheer scale and opulence of these structures conveyed an unmistakable message of authority and control, a harbinger of the dramatic changes yet to come. It is amidst these hallowed halls and monuments, which still stand as silent witnesses to history, that the story of Caesar's rise and the transformation of the Roman Republic into an empire will unfold. The very stones of the Forum would bear the weight of this pivotal moment, as the clash between tradition and ambition played out on its storied ground. Julius Caesar emerged as a captivating and complex figure. Tall and athletically built, despite occasional bouts of poor health, he was known for his baldness, which he often tried to conceal with a laurel crown. His military brilliance was matched only by his political cunning and masterful oratory skills. Caesar's primary antagonists included Pompey, his former ally turned rival, and Cato the Younger, a staunch defender of republican traditions. In the Senate, figures such as Cicero watched with growing concern as the accumulation of power in Caesar's hands threatened to upend the delicate balance of the Roman Republic. Pompey, once a trusted partner in the First Triumvirate, had become Caesar's bitter opponent. A celebrated military commander in his own right, Pompey represented the established order and the conservative elements within the Roman elite. As Caesar's ambition grew, their once close alliance crumbled, setting the stage for an epic clash that would ultimately decide the fate of the Republic. Cato the Younger, a revered senator and philosopher, embodied the unyielding spirit of traditional Roman republicanism. He was an unwavering opponent of Caesar's growing influence, passionately arguing for the preservation of the Senate's authority and the time-honored institutions of the Republic. Cato's principled stand against Caesar's consolidation of power made him a formidable obstacle on the path to the general's ascent. Cicero, the renowned orator and statesman, observed the unfolding events with a mixture of awe and trepidation. As a respected voice in the Senate, he grappled with the dilemma of preserving the Republic while acknowledging the transformative potential of Caesar's leadership. Cicero's writings and speeches would become crucial primary sources, capturing the complex political tensions that gripped Rome during this pivotal period. These towering historical figures, each with their own motivations, allegiances, and visions for Rome's future, would collide in a high-stakes struggle that would ultimately reshape the course of Western civilization. Their clash of ideals and ambitions would leave an indelible mark on the annals of history. Caesar's rise to power truly began in Gaul. Over the course of 9 years of campaigns, 58 to 50 BC, he not only conquered vast territories, but also forged a loyal army and a legendary reputation. His own words, recorded in De Bello Gallico, transport us to the epicenter of epic battles and brilliant military strategies. As he led his legions to victory after victory, Caesar's ambition extended far beyond mere military conquests. With each triumph celebrated in Rome, he meticulously built a formidable power base, distributing the spoils of war among his soldiers and winning over the common people through lavish games and generous donations. The Gallic Wars were a transformative period in Caesar's rise to power. Commanding his legions with exceptional skill and tactical acumen, he overcame Gaulish resistance and expanded the reach of Roman influence across the region. Descriptions from De Bello Gallico vividly depict the intensity of these campaigns, from the daring river crossings and coordinated assaults to the ingenious siegecraft that allowed Caesar to systematically subdue the disparate Gallic tribes. But Caesar's ambition was not limited to the battlefield. As he returned to Rome in triumph, he leveraged his military successes and the loyalty of his soldiers to bolster his political standing. By distributing the spoils of war among his legionaries, he cultivated a devoted following that would prove instrumental in his future confrontations with the conservative elements of the Roman Senate. Furthermore, Caesar's generosity towards the common people, manifest in the lavish games and distributions of wealth, earned him tremendous popularity among the plebeians. This shrewd political maneuver allowed him to position himself as a champion of the masses, setting the stage for a direct challenge to the traditional power structures of the Republic. With each passing year, Caesar's influence and control over the levers of power in Rome steadily grew. His military triumphs, political acumen, and ability to appeal to both the soldiers and the common people coalesced into a formidable force that would ultimately shatter the foundations of the Roman Republic, paving the way for the birth of the Roman Empire. Roman society in this era was marked by profound divisions. The Optimates, a conservative aristocratic faction, fought tenaciously to preserve their privileges, while the populace, led by figures like Caesar, sought social reforms, though often driven by self-interest as much as genuine concern for the common people. This clash of ideologies reflected the underlying tensions that threatened to tear the Republic apart. The Optimates, representing the traditional landed elite, viewed any challenge to the established order with deep suspicion. They sought to maintain their grip on power and the status quo, fearing the upheaval that reform might bring. In contrast, the populace, with Caesar at the forefront, positioned themselves as champions of the common citizens. Their calls for land redistribution, debt relief, and the extension of citizenship rights resonated with the masses, who had long chafed under the yoke of aristocratic rule. Yet, even as they espoused these populist causes, the populace were not immune to the lure of personal ambition. The role of dictator, originally a temporary position meant to address moments of crisis, took on new significance in Caesar's hands. His eventual appointment as dictator in perpetuity represented a fundamental rupture with republican traditions, as he consolidated power in a way that had never been seen before. This cultural and social divide within Roman society was not merely a backdrop to Caesar's rise, but a critical element that shaped the very nature of the conflict. The struggle between the Optimates and the populace was not just about political power, but about the very soul of the Republic, whether it would remain bound to its traditional foundations or embrace a new, more centralized form of governance. Caesar's ascension as a dictator perpetuus, a title that struck at the heart of the Republic's democratic principles, represented a seismic shift in the balance of power. It was a move that would have profound and far-reaching consequences, not just for Rome, but for the course of Western civilization as a whole. What do you think drove Caesar more, personal ambition or a genuine desire to reform Rome? Share your opinion in the comments. And if you're enjoying this historical analysis, be sure to leave a like to support the channel. As Caesar's power continued to grow, so too did the mounting tension within Roman society. His reforms, though often necessary, alarmed the traditional elite. The granting of citizenship to provincials, the calendar reform, the expansion of the Senate. Each measure increased both his popularity among the masses and the number of his enemies within the establishment. The conservative optimates, led by figures like Cato the Younger, viewed Caesar's actions with deep-seated alarm. They saw his steady accumulation of power as a direct threat to the very foundations of the Republic, which they believed could only be preserved by adhering to long-standing traditions and the delicate balance of power within the Senate. Yet, Caesar's populist appeal, bolstered by his military triumphs and generous distributions of wealth, made him increasingly difficult to oppose. His reforms resonated with the common people, who had long chafed under the yoke of aristocratic rule. This groundswell of public support only heightened the sense of crisis among the traditional Roman elite. As the rift between Caesar and his adversaries deepened, the atmosphere in Rome grew increasingly volatile. The specter of civil war loomed large, with both sides maneuvering for position and seeking to tip the scales in their favor. The very fabric of the Republic seemed to hang in the balance, as the conflict between the forces of change and tradition threatened to tear it asunder. The climax of this high-stakes drama would come on the Ides of March, 44 BC. Conspirators, including his own protege Brutus, plotted Caesar's assassination, fearing that he would seek to crown himself king, a title that was anathema to the Roman psyche, given the bitter memories of the Tarquinian monarchy's overthrow centuries earlier. The impending assassination attempt represented the ultimate confrontation between Caesar's ambition and the steadfast defenders of the Republic. It was a moment pregnant with foreboding, as the threads of history converged, setting the stage for a transformative event that would reverberate through the ages. The assassination of Caesar, far from saving the Republic, instead precipitated its final downfall. The ensuing civil war led to the rise of Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, as Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Caesar's legacy transcended his own lifetime. His administrative reforms, his legal code, and even the very month of July, named after Julius, stand as enduring testaments to his influence. His name became synonymous with supreme authority, giving rise to titles such as Tsar and Kaiser in later eras. The murder of Caesar on the Ides of March, carried out by a group of senators led by Brutus and Cassius, was intended to preserve the Republic and its traditional power structures. However, this act of political violence ultimately proved to be the catalyst for the Republic's demise. The subsequent power struggle between competing factions plunged Rome into a series of devastating civil wars, ultimately culminating in the ascension of Octavian as the first Roman emperor. Caesar's death, rather than restoring the old order, ushered in a new age of imperial rule. Octavian, leveraging his adoptive father's legacy and the loyalty of Caesar's veteran legions, would consolidate power and transform the Roman state into a centralized, autocratic empire. This marked the end of the Republic and the beginning of the Pax Romana, a prolonged period of relative peace and stability under the rule of the Caesars. Yet, Caesar's influence extended far beyond the borders of his own lifetime. His administrative reforms, such as the Julian calendar, streamlined the governance of the sprawling Roman domains. His legal innovations laid the foundations for the robust system of Roman law that would endure for centuries. Even the very title of Caesar, which became synonymous with supreme imperial authority, is a testament to the indelible mark he left on the course of history. In the centuries that followed, the name Caesar would be invoked by ambitious rulers across Europe and beyond, from the Tsars of Russia to the Kaisers of Germany. This linguistic legacy underscores the magnitude of Caesar's impact, as his persona became a byword for power, conquest, and the wielding of absolute authority. The transformation of the Roman Republic into an empire, catalyzed by Caesar's rise and ultimate demise, would have profound and far-reaching consequences. It ushered in a new era of centralized imperial rule that would shape the political and cultural landscape of the Western world for generations to come. The story of Caesar invites us to reflect on the eternal conflict between change and tradition, between personal power and established institutions. His life demonstrates how pivotal moments of crisis can transform entire political systems, for better or for worse. Caesar's rise and fall encapsulate the delicate balance that underpins the foundations of any republic. His military genius, political acumen, and ambition for reform clashed head-on with the entrenched interests and conservative values of the Roman elite. This confrontation ultimately shattered the fragile equilibrium of the Republic, ushering in a new era of imperial rule. In many ways, Caesar's story is a cautionary tale about the perils of unchecked ambition and the risks inherent in concentrating too much power in the hands of a single individual. Yet, it also highlights the challenges faced by those who seek to enact meaningful change within the constraints of established institutions. Caesar's legacy serves as a potent reminder that the quest for progress often comes at a heavy price. Caesar's life and legacy challenge us to grapple with the enduring tensions that shape the course of human civilization. His story serves as a powerful reminder that the march of progress is often fraught with conflict, that the pursuit of power can come at great cost, and that the delicate balance between tradition and innovation is essential for the long-term stability and prosperity of any society. As we reflect on the lessons of Caesar's rise and fall, we are compelled to consider the broader implications for our own time. For the echoes of Rome's transformation continue to reverberate, reminding us that the struggle between change and tradition is an eternal one, and that the decisions we make today can have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. And so we conclude the extraordinary tale of the rise and fall of Julius Caesar. If you were captivated by this historical analysis, be sure to leave a like, share this video with other ancient history enthusiasts, and comment on which aspect of Caesar's life most surprised you. To avoid missing our upcoming explorations of the ancient world, including the series on the birth of the Roman Empire, subscribe to the Legacy of Empires channel and turn on notifications. History continues, and we want you with us on this journey.